Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel, Perspectives by Bella. I am so excited today. This is my very first time doing a Zoom interview with the wonderful Dr. Caroline Iscovitz. And before she starts, I just want to tell you a little bit. I don't know much about her, but I know a little bit. We met, it was a chance meeting. So I was in a class and I took a break. We were 15 minutes break. So I was like, let me jump onto this mom group thing we met on LinkedIn, by the way. So I jumped onto the momlink networking connection group. And there they put us in rooms. Once I got on there, they put us in rooms. And I was in a room with this wonderful lady. We just connected right away. I had only 5 minutes. She understood. We did quick exchanges and I was out. And after that, this wonderful woman actually called, like I wanted to connect with her after because I thought there was, something there. And she had the time to sit with me, not once, for more than a half hour to just chat with me. That to me is wonderful. It shows how much she loves people and she values people. And that's why she's on this channel. This channel is all about people who are making a difference in their communities, making a difference in people's lives. And that's what she's all about. So on that note, help me welcome the wonderful Dr. Caroline Iscovitz.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. And what a beautiful intro.
Oh, so Caroline, Dr. Caroline, we're going to play a little game. She goes by Dr. C, so I am going to be referring to her by Dr. C as we're going. Dr. C, just for people to know, for us, we don't need icebreakers, but them maybe they need to know you a little bit. So first of all, what's your favorite color?
Oh, so growing up, it was actually blue, and I still love blue, but pink is my favorite color. I mean, my chair is pink. I'm like obsessed with pink. I don't know what it is.
Beautiful.
Barbies growing up, but yes, pink is my favorite color.
Beautiful. I love you. You look amazing, by the way. The whole color, like you look amazing. And
Yeah.
cable sweater. Oh, wonderful. So pink is the color. Okay, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food. Oh, I'm a sushi lover. I love sushi. Like I could eat it every day if I was allowed to. Would it
Oh
get me food poisoning? I would eat it
Whoa.
every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What's your favorite city?
Favorite city?
The
Oh,
world.
I mean, I haven't been all the places I want to go, so I feel like there's other places that might be on my list, but I would say my favorite city is London. I fell in love with London. I wanted to move there for like I was in my master's program. I was like figuring out ways how to like get over there and do like my internship over there, but I was
Yeah.
obsessed with London. I still love it. I haven't been back in years, but I really wanted to move there.
Beautiful. Wow. Your your memorable moments in your life, like memorable experience or whatever you want to share with our audience.
Yeah. Oh, there's been a lot of
Sorry.
moments, but I would say because I had gone through so many hardships when I was getting my doctorate degree, walking across that stage, getting that diploma of like all the hard work I did, that was like huge because I was never a straight A student growing up. So like the fact that I got a doctorate was like monumental for me in particular.
Wow.
Like,
Love it. Love it. Wow. So that will bring us to the end of this get to know. Unless there's something that you want to share with us that I didn't touch on before we start.
I mean, I feel like there's so much, but I'm sure we're going to go through all of that right now.
Perfect. Perfect. Just so you know, this lady wears so many hats. So even my introduction didn't cover all. She's a wife, she's an entrepreneur, she's a content creator, she has a YouTube channel, and she's on most of the social media handles. Like she is busy and she posts daily. Like when I grow up, I want to be like you, Dr. Caroline. Honestly, she is amazing. And as we go on, you'll learn all these things. If a woman can do this, then I think that's what she's all about, empowering people to be great and to be all that they could, women especially, right? So please tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Caroline.
Yes. Oh man. It's like when you say it out loud, I'm like, wow, I did that. I do that.
Yeah, you
I
do
like
that.
forget sometimes. But I will say I've done a lot in my life, and it all stemmed from just even like middle school is the first time I can remember doing multiple things, just like always having so much on my plate. But I think that was like a coping mechanism. And now it's more of I just love doing different things and multi-passionate. And I think a lot of people listening probably are, because I feel like we don't want to fit into a box. We want to be able to have our hands in kind of a lot of pots. And but what I've realized, especially this last year, is to really focus in on just two things instead of seven, because I had 7 businesses up until last year between my husband and I. So I was like, okay, we really need to just focus in and make sure these are really foundational aspects of just making sure everything's good to go. And then we can do the other things, because I've read so many books, listened to so many amazing, wise people saying when you put your energy in just one or two things, those can really flourish. And then you can add the other things on. I was always trying to do so many things and grow so many things at the same time. I finally, like, after 6.5 years in the entrepreneurship world, I finally learned, okay, maybe just one or two things. So to answer your question, I have a solar energy company with my husband. He started it and then I took over. Now it's 51% owned, female or woman owned.
Wow.
Like, you could have the whole thing. I was like, no, no, no.
Okay.
So it is woman owned, and it's been such an amazing journey with that. I never saw myself getting into solar. I didn't even know what solar was until I met my husband. But to kind of give you a background story, I always wanted to be an architect when I was growing up, and I had done drafting classes in high school, really learning how to use CAD, the system to like design things, really obsessed with it. I was so good at math, and now not so much, but
Well, yeah, that's opposite me then. Math.
yeah. So I got a Truman scholarship in college, which is how I fell into psychology. I was always that person people came to when they had issues. So it just kind of aligned with my personality and what I wanted to do. And I was really good at it. At least that's what people told me and
Yeah.
clients. But I think it really served me and it taught me so much. And I don't regret any decision I've ever made, because it's gotten me to this point. And I think sometimes we have to go through the bumps in the road to get to where we want to go. But I have a solar energy company as well as my YouTube channel, being able to have inspiring voices all over the world, just telling their entrepreneurial journey story. They've been in business for a while, so it gives context, because the first 5 years of my journey was like up and down, and now going into year 7, it looks really different. So giving people that opportunity to see that it's not linear. There's so many bumps in the road, but if you really want something, it does align. Like, things start to happen really quickly when it is in your lane. And then you really go through a lot of trying times to test you to see if you really want it, or it might be the wrong fit or the wrong lane you're in. So it's just really evaluating what works for you. But I really do focus on just the solar company as well as the channel. I do a couple other things, but those are my main priorities right now.
And you're doing amazing there. I see your posts and your Instagrams, posting you're on Facebook, YouTube shorts. I see you all over. I'm like, wow, I want to be able to do all that. And side note here, it's because of this wonderful lady that I wanted to venture into interviewing people all over the world. I didn't think that was possible for me. When I started, it was just Edry, right? My mind couldn't even think. When I got that vision to do it, right, it wasn't like this broad, and now it's getting bigger than than I thought, like bigger than me. It's really bigger than me. So thank you so much for inspiring me, and not only just inspiring me, you literally sat down with me, showed me what to do, even on my Zoom, to get this right. So I mean, you're amazing. Thank you so much for doing that.
So
And on that note, on this beautiful note, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with this wonderful. You've not heard anything yet. You wait. Hold on and we'll be right back. All right. Thank you. We are back with Dr. Caroline. Dr. C, thank you so much for doing this again. I am so grateful. You have no idea.
I'm grateful.
So you've told us about yourself. Where are you from? Where are
Where do
we
I come
from? Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Well, I grew up in South Florida, so that's where I was born and raised. And I got my bachelor's in South Florida. It was 20 minutes away from home, which is where I got the cheerleading scholarship. So it was nice to be home because I don't know if I was ready to go. I was kind of one of the younger ones in my grade. I was 17 when I was just about to start college. So I was
Oh,
very young, and
wow.
so it was good that I stayed home, and I was able to graduate college in 3 years. I found a way to, as an athlete, you had to take a certain amount of classes every semester. I think it was about 5.
Okay.
I figured out a way to take 6 and go through summers to graduate in 3 years. And so once I completed that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to move. I don't want to be in Florida. Like I knew I never wanted to stay in Florida. So then I moved to California for
Yeah.
graduate school and then moved back to Florida when I wanted to start my first business, which was
Oh,
coaching. And
oh,
then what was this? Back in May 2021, I looked at the map and decided to move to Colorado. I knew one person and I just trusted my gut. And then a month later, I met my now husband when I got here in July. I met him in August.
imagine. Yeah, she's a newly wedded wife. Like she's a newlywed. Oh, wow. Look how things just added up, like aligned.
Yes. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
that's like going back to what I was saying earlier too, is when things aren't aligning, there's hurdles. I actually wanted to move to Chicago for 3 years and nothing was working. I was like, fine, I'll go back to working full time. I'll figure it out. I just want to leave Florida. Like I love my family, but the energy there just wasn't serving me.
Mm.
And so Chicago just wasn't working. But as soon as I picked Colorado, 3 months later, I was here. And I had no idea how it was going to work, but it worked.
It worked. It worked
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything just
I mean, it's part
aligned.
of your career now. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
this is beautiful. I'm loving this. So, what made you start? I'm curious. What made you
Yeah.
start YouTubing? Like, what
Mm.
you were there, and like, where was that time that made you, okay, let's do this? And you're inspiring so many people with what you do. So, please tell us your story there.
Yeah, it's a fun story. So I wanted to start, I actually just made a post about this the other day because taking the initiative, taking action, sometimes we sit on things because we're like, oh, I don't know. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, as I call myself. It still creeps in. Yep.
1 year
A lot
too.
of, I think a lot of people can relate. So I went through the process of, okay, I want to start a channel. And this was 2 years prior to starting it. So I started it January 2022. But before
Wow.
that, like right before COVID, actually, I was like, I really want to start a channel. And the reason I wanted to start it was because I saw my journey was really similar to a lot of people's in the sense that it wasn't like the same. It didn't like go to school, get a good job, and then you're set for life thing. And I've probably said that 2 million times. But I realized through that journey, a lot of people didn't know what to do when they started a business, and that was me. I struggled. I wasn't ready to hire somebody because I didn't have the capital to hire someone. I was struggling with like, okay, what's the right program to use?
Mm,
How, like knowing that it's normal to fail and being a perfectionist, it was really hard for me to fail. I like didn't realize how important it is to fail because the more you fail, the more you're putting effort in, the more you will get that success because a lot of times all the statistics out there, maybe 10% of the actual things work out. But if
mm.
you didn't do the 90% of different things that you've tried, you wouldn't have made it. And I made that up, that statistic, so I can't like say
No,
that.
no, it's all good. It's I can relate to what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is very relatable. I think so many entrepreneurs go through that. And being a former therapist, I love creating space for people to really just talk and figure out what's going on and helping them in the way I can. And in therapy, everything's confidential, rightfully so. But I was like, how can I maybe create this space? Like subconsciously, I think I was thinking this. I didn't realize what I was doing in the moment. But I
Mm,
just wanted to create a community that people could learn from each other because I learned so much from everyone. I've learned from you. I've learned from every single person I encounter. That is my goal because I don't have all the answers. I know a few things, but I don't know everything. And so when I'm able to come in contact with people, it's hearing their stories and being a former therapist. I love hearing people's stories, how they got to where they were, knowing that their journey is so different because everyone is different and your delivery is different. You could be in the same exact industry. And that's why when I started the channel, it's funny how it's morphed, but I started with like doing cooking and Monday mindsets. And then the interviews is what took off the channel. And I realized because I'm getting in front of other people's audiences, as well as they're getting in front of my audience, and we can learn from each other and have a bigger impact. And that's my phrase for this year is elevated impact because the more I'm able to reach people, the more impact I can have, the more people can learn from one another, because I'm talking about asking them, what is their journey? What are the tools that they use on the back end that are not so obvious? What are the hurdles, the obstacles, the successes, the clients, and hopefully getting clients from being on the show as well. That's my goal for every episode, is to highlight them and their journey, because it is so unique. And through that journey, I realized how much it did definitely grow, and now it's like starting to taper off. But the more I can interview people, the more I can make an impact, and people can learn from one another. That's like the biggest thing. But it didn't start out that way. I just kind of was playing around with it because I just wanted to have a channel. I wanted
Right?
to make some kind of impact. I didn't know what that looked like, and that's the beautiful thing with entrepreneurship. There is no paved path. You pave it as you go, and that's exactly what the channel did. So my husband was actually the one that like kind of pushed me to start. He's like, "You've been talking about this, just do it." And I'm like, it's not perfect yet. So I'm
Oh my
glad he
God.
kind of gave me the little push I needed.
I thank God for wonderful husbands like that.
Yeah.
My husband also helped me, right? Because I was just hesitating, on a lot
Yeah.
of things. He's like, just do it, just do it. And
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
God for that. Wow.
Yeah.
And look at what you're doing now. When you said yes and you started, look at you now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy because you never know what can happen when you do start. And I think the biggest thing is staying consistent. That's one of my strengths. But the more you do it, the more you learn. And I'm even starting to shift things even more in the channel. And it's just like as you grow, other things grow too. You evolve.
It's
We're
beautiful.
human. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And so what Dr. C is trying, I'm getting from what you're saying is that don't be afraid of failing. Just do it. And if you fail, what's the worst that could happen? You've learned something. Okay, you've learned that when I step here, this is the wrong area to step. So next time I'll step this way. So failures shouldn't stop you from doing things, right?
Yeah. I mean, it stopped me in the past. And like because I was like so particular about things and I wanted things, and it still creeps up. Like it's not like it went away completely. I'm not gonna like I'll be fully transparent on that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it can be challenging when it's not working out and your heart and soul is in something. It's just finding another way, but knowing, okay, this isn't the right path because there's something better. And like I still have to remind myself of that daily sometimes.
Mm, mm. Yeah, people, usually women, especially we are, things like that will just, okay, so maybe that wasn't meant to be done, so that
Yeah.
you give up. But don't give up because I feel like those things, those said, how do you call it? Shortfalls or whatever. It's for me to gather myself and go higher, you know?
Yeah.
Or else, how else will you learn? How else will you grow?
Yeah.
Challenges
Yeah.
are bread, you have to eat them and grow with it, grow up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because you just never know what's on the other side. And it's
Yeah.
being open to it, knowing that's part of the process. Because like
Hmm.
if you think of a baby doesn't just come out of the womb walking. Like they
Oh,
have to like sit up and tummy time and then crawl, and then like sometimes they just run or they walk or dance, but there's a process in that, and just like anything.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. A short break and we'll be back. And then when we come back, we're going to share something special about you and your organization.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
so
good.
we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Thank you so much, Dr. C.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are back. Dr. C,
Yeah.
can you please share something special about yourself and your organization?
Oh, something special. I'll start with the organization, then I'll get to myself because I don't know.
Sure. Oh, I think you have
Um,
thoughts.
I gotta think. I gotta think. Well, I will say something that's special about our organization is we're family owned. Even though it's a little more women owned based, my husband and I run it together, which has been so fun. Everyone's always like, "How do you work with your spouse?" And I was a former marriage and family therapist, so I really understand
Oh,
dynamics when it comes to families and just relationships and how things work. That's how my brain works even before I was in the field. So that's
imagine.
part of it. Boundaries, communication, key to everything, even in business, even in life. But being able to work with my husband has been really fun. We both have different strengths. Some are similar, like we have the same core values, which really helps. But I love being able to have that I guess, integration between the two of us, where he's really good with the sales and installation as well as training, and I do more of the recruiting, the networking, the marketing. So we really have a good foundation between the two of us, which allows us to continue to grow. But this year we actually started, because a lot of solar companies out there, they just sell the solar and then they pass it off to an installation company and then other factors. Because it takes about 6 companies and 3 government organizations to get one person solar. So we've actually condensed that, which makes us a little bit different than a lot of the companies out there. I mean, I recruit for other solar companies. So, I mean, I believe in abundance, but what really sets us apart is that fact that we sell it, we install it, and we service it here in Colorado, as well as
Wow.
we do sell it in 35 other states throughout the US as well.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a difference in the world by using the solar thing too, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
educating people and oh wow. Okay, now yourself.
Yes. So that's a big part of it. It's been a fun journey learning about solar, how it works. And I think the best part about all of it is we get to educate people. And I don't feel like we need to sell it. It's just giving people the foundation and the facts, because the company was based off of transparency and honesty, because there's a lot of solar companies out there. Not all of them are the same. They are different. And my husband had been in the industry for years prior, and he just kind of saw that there wasn't full transparency and honesty. And that's what our foundational piece of our business is as well, because we believe we just show people the facts, and numbers can't lie. That is the facts. So I think that's the biggest part of just giving people the right foundation, because I think knowledge is powered when applied.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think as we're going down to you, let some of our audience know about it too, because I'm not into solar at all. I don't like, I think it's a good idea. I don't know
Yeah.
much about it. So I'm sure some of the people watching it too might learn some stuff from this. So as we go down, if you're comfortable
Yeah,
sharing
yeah,
anything.
of course. Yeah. I mean, I love talking about it.
Cool. Cool.
Just to give people the information.
Yeah.
So for us, it's really cool because I didn't really understand how it worked. It was like, well, you have to pay a lot of money or there's money down. And how it works is if you're able to afford your electricity bill, you're able to afford solar. So how it works is instead of paying the utility company, you pay the solar panels, just kind of like a mortgage. You pay like monthly, same concept, you pay your utility bill. So it's not any extra money going out of what you're currently paying. So a lot of times with solar, it's either what you're currently paying or less than what you're paying. So
Oh,
that's how that kind of works. And once a homeowner, we have a proposal, we show them how the utility company does increase their prices every year. So on average throughout the US, I can't speak for other places, but it increases 4% every year. And a huge reason for that is because the more people that go solar, the more they have to recoup those costs. So when they have to charge the people who don't have solar yet those extra costs. And through that process, like in Toledo, Ohio, from 2023 to this year, their utility bills went up 109% from one year. So that's going to start happening more and more. Here in Colorado, in some areas, it's 15%, other places 8%. And that continues to increase, especially once more people go solar. But how it really works is just being able to have the panels up. It's a 25-year warranty for most companies. That's pretty the basis. And then if anything does go wrong, it gets replaced right away. We usually find out before the homeowner finds out that there's something wrong with the panel. And because they have the warranty, we go in and fix it. But that's like the basis of it. In addition to that, it's great for the planet. There's ways to recycle it, because I actually got that question the other day and I was like, I don't know. So I like researched it, because I like never like to give wrong information.
yeah.
Or I'll be like, let me find out more. But there's ways to recycle some of those parts and how that works as well. But I think it's just something that's really good for the homeowner, for the environment, and it's a lucrative business. But I think the biggest thing for my husband and I is we get to educate people daily on how it works, and being able to help a homeowner reduce one of their bills, especially with inflation and the economy. If we can help in just one area, that means the world to us.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. When I think of solar, here in Canada, we get a lot of snow. So do you get snow in Colorado?
Yes, actually, it's a huge snowstorm tomorrow. But that's a great question, because a lot of times people are like, well, if it rains and the sun's not out, even if it's cloudy, the sun's still technically out, you actually sometimes get more sunlight or like more electricity coming through when it's not sunny. So there's a huge
Really?
misconception that if it snows or if it rains, that you're not getting that electricity. It might not be as much, but you're still getting that electricity coming from the sun to the solar panels to allow that to continue to produce electricity.
Mm.
And
Even
then
when,
in some part, oh yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say in some parts there's net metering, which allows you to the utility company to buy back the electricity you don't use, so you can actually make money off of it. Certain areas,
Oh,
not everywhere. There's just like a select few places. Like it changed in California. They used to have that, and now it's like net metering. 3.0 they're talking about for this coming couple coming months as well.
wow, there's a lot I need to learn about solar.
Yeah, I'm still learning. I mean, I'm no expert. I call my husband a walking encyclopedia when it comes to solar.
Because he's been there for, yeah, that
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
This is
So I'm learning
interesting.
from him.
Yeah, because I told him my husband installed a
Yeah,
camera to a solar camera. But my questions to him was that, okay, so when it snows and the snow sits on the panel, will it still work? Apparently, yeah, it even
yeah.
goes down minus 45 or so, and it still works. Wow.
Yeah. And it's very low maintenance too. So if it rains or snows, it's like actually cleaning off the panels, because we tell people just like hose it off once a year, but they're minimal maintenance. It's just very durable, and it actually protects a lot of roof, your home insurance, at least here in Colorado and other states, that it goes down because it actually protects the roof when we have hailstorms. We had a really bad one last summer as
Mm.
well that protected a lot of roofs. Some panels were damaged, but I think out of the 3,000 installs we've done in 4 years, there's been maybe 4 panels, like, or 4 homeowners that had issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Low maintenance is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Because there's
this
so
day
many
and
other
age,
things to worry about.
right? Too busy to, be worrying about others. So this is good. Oh, it's good to know. Thank you
Yeah.
for educating us a bit about solar. And if anybody wants to learn more about it, I guess they can reach out to you. Do you reach out service that outside Colorado or like around the world or
Right now in the US, I actually have a few friends in France that are like, let us know when you're here.
oh
So just because I've expanded my network very globally, so I that would be the main goal, to be overseas, like in different countries. Like that would be, I actually interviewed someone from Kenya the other day. I didn't know they were from Kenya. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, we're not there yet, but I will let you know when we're there. So, I mean, that is definitely one of our big goals, to be able to be all over the world so we can help more people, because the more we help, the more impact we have, the more we can make the planet a little bit better, as well
yeah.
as reducing the electricity bills.
I love that. Okay. What's the best part of being Dr. C?
Oh, the best part.
Mm.
I think it's evolved, maybe what I would have answered a few years ago to now. I think it really is just, I have evolved so much, and I've created a lot more compassion for myself, because I am my own worst critic. It still is a thing. I still work on it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But I think it's just being able to show up as me and be able to really impact people, because that's really what I call myself, as a social impactor, because I want to be able to, every person I encounter, no matter how big or small the impact is, I want to make a lasting impact, or some kind of impression that's going to be a little bit better than what I
Yeah.
left somebody as. And I think that's just always been my character, of just really wanting to make a difference, even when I was a therapist, and even before that, just how my nature is, because I think that's what makes me me. And I mean, I don't know what else other people would say about me, but that's all
Oh.
I got.
I have a lot to say about you, but yeah, I was talking to my husband and I was like, I don't know what made you those 2 times that we sat online, like on Zoom and chatted for so long. Like what there's no payment to be gained here. You didn't, so what made you even want to do that? When I think about it, it's like because these days it's hard to find people to do things for free, like do things out of their hearts, right? Why? And I remember I even asked you, do you charge people for interviewing and all that? You're like, no, you don't. Like, what makes you do all these things?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just, selfishly, I love meeting people. I love connecting. And, I feel like it's a huge part of who I am is
Yeah.
I really like to think of myself as a super connector, because I'll meet somebody, I'm like, you need to connect with this person. And maybe it's karma and I'm just like putting out, like what I put out is what I'll get back, is my thought process, but I don't really think about it. It's just, I'm really heart led in a lot of ways, where I just want to help people, even
Wow.
if there's no like money exchanged or anything like that, because I just
Yeah.
don't believe in that, at least in the YouTube world and things along those lines. Solar is a little bit different because,
It's a business.
that's
Yeah.
our livelihood.
Yeah.
But I think it's just how I want to learn from people. And I feel like I do learn so much. And then I
Mm.
have a beautiful community. And that's really why I even started the channel, was to create my own community, because I felt like I needed that. Because when I moved back from California to Florida, a lot of my friends were not in the entrepreneurial world, and I had to really create a new community. And then when I was like set on moving to Chicago, one of my best friends lived there, and I was just constantly, I like volunteered. I found all these networking events. She's like, "How did you even find it? You don't even live here."
Yeah.
But I
Wow.
really love creating community. That's just something that's so dear and sacred to my heart. And if I can meet somebody that I have that impact again, like that's what it's about for me. I don't really have an explanation for it. That's just like the best one
Mm.
I could think of. But I think,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's just really, it's heart led for sure.
Mhm. I see. Yeah, I'm all about community. And I mean, as you know, I started with my community here, like Bruce community here. But I like building communities too. I think God created us for community. Humans, nobody has their own island. He didn't create us on islands, we are created into families and into bigger, like nuclear family, into the extended, and
Yes.
communities. It's our nature, and I'm very passionate about that. So I'm glad we met.
Yeah, me too.
And thank you so much for the help here and there, everything that you've contributed to my growth. I appreciate that. And so yeah, I want to ask, are there any challenges with either YouTube or with your solar? Like, are there any challenges that you would like to share?
Oh my gosh, so many. It's like every day a challenge. Oh, it's not all rosy colored sunglasses.
Oh,
But I would say with solar, that's actually even why I started to get into the solar industry. I kind of saw some things, just especially based off my clinical psychology background, of how finding really talented individuals that want to work, like sales reps, and building that up. I was like, why don't I just do this? Like, I'll get a few people for you. And then it started taking off. Like one company, I recruited 75 people in like 3 weeks, because it was just
ah,
like, yeah.
oh,
It was
oh.
crazy. It was crazy, but it was really cool. And I realized I was like, oh, I'm really good at this. Like, because being able to understand people really easily, and I can really feel people's energy even before I interviewed them, just like the communication factor, like all these little nonverbals I can pick up on probably faster than maybe some other people, not
Yeah.
everyone. So I think through that, I realized the challenges of finding really talented individuals that really wanted to work, because I feel like the generations, things are shifting than like my parents' generation, I would say. So I feel like it's definitely a huge shift in finding people that want to work. And then doing on the install side, it's been really interesting seeing how companies work, because we do residential and commercial properties
Oh, wow.
throughout the US as well, like mainly in Colorado though.
Yeah.
And I've seen the challenges of just like scheduling and all the things that you don't see on the front end. There's so many obstacles, or people not paying right away, and like having to front that money and seeing how things really work. It's
Hmm.
very expensive, but it's
Oh,
definitely worth it, because in the end, we're making an impact in the community. And then for YouTube, the challenge is where I was editing everything myself up
woo.
until this year. So it was really a challenge, because I have 2 episodes that go live every week on YouTube, and then 3 to 5 on the podcast. So I
Oh.
was doing all of that while doing everything else I do. And it just got to be too much. So I
Yeah.
finally outsourced, which thank God now I have like a mini team. And it took me a long time to get there, though. It didn't happen overnight. And I had to learn, and the challenges of learning. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, wouldn't you have started your channel if you knew you had to edit everything? I'm like, no. but it evolved. Like my husband
Yeah.
first edited for a few months, and then he's like, I can't do it anymore. I don't have the bandwidth. Like, I need to do this. So I was like, okay. Because my skill set is not video editing, but I've learned.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the challenges, even in anything in life, you have to put in the effort. You're never going to be great at something right away. And I have a problem with that sometimes. Like, even like I was just talking about this the other day about skiing. I was like, I'm terrible at skiing. I did it once and like one and done kind of thing, but I wasn't great at it at first. And so I was like, I don't like this. But I think in life, there's things that are going to be challenging. And how do you overcome that? And I think it's just my mindset of, well, consistency. Everything that I've like struggled with in the beginning, I've gotten to a point of excellence because of every step I've had to take and the journey of like falling down, getting back up. Even in cheerleading, I was horrible at cheerleading when I started. And then I became a competitive college cheerleader. So it's this process of never giving up if it's something you're really, truly passionate about. Sometimes you just have to readjust of how you go about it. But there's challenges every single day. Those are just a handful that I can think of off the top of my head.
Wow, beautiful. How can people get involved or help?
Yeah, I mean, with solar, so currently we're just in the US. We're hopefully going to expand to all 50 states sooner than later, but we're in 36 now, 35.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Getting there.
It's more
So,
than half.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been a work in progress. But
Wow.
anybody that wants to learn more about solar, we have a channel now for like TikTok and Instagram that we talk about the facts. We show behind the scenes because I love behind the scenes. I think it just gives it context of what really goes on.
Yeah.
So if people want to learn more about that for the channel, I'm always wanting to make an impact. So any feedback of people, maybe guests that people know about, that would be really fascinating to have on. People that are just making a difference in their world and making an impact of the people around them as well as the world. So those are the main things. Yeah.
Cool, cool. So you heard it. We'll give Dr. C's contact info, like how to reach her and all that, so you can reach out to her if you need any of the information that she's, sharing. Do you love where you live now, Colorado? This is my first international interview, and it's so like surreal. Okay.
Oh, yes. I get it. I get it. I was the same way when I first interviewed somebody outside of the US.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Colorado is exactly where I need to be at this moment. In Florida, growing up in Florida, I knew I never wanted to stay there or raise kids there. I think it was great for me growing up, and then living in California, I loved it. It was just very pricey to live there, especially I was making like $15 an hour as a doctor.
Oh,
So
really?
that's a whole other episode, but
Yeah.
and that was my experience. I will preface,
Mhm.
but I think with Colorado, I love hiking. I love the mountains. And there's something about being on top of a mountain where your problems seem so small and you can see things from a different perspective.
Oh,
And I'm actually doing this 52 hike challenge right now to go to different places in Colorado to explore more of the state and learn more about it as well. But I do think it's so beautiful. I've never lived in a place where it snows a lot. So that was very much of a challenge. I like finally got a new car where I can drive in the snow.
oh, that's so funny, from Florida to Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
different. I mean, like I was used to the beaches. Like California was a good mix because it was like the beach and the mountains. So I love that. But I was never really a beach person growing up anyway, but the mountains, like they have my soul. I just feel so grounded when I'm hiking and outdoors in general. But it's definitely a different energy. I mean, I feel like we'll probably stay here for a
oh,
bit longer because my husband's from
amazing.
Colorado. So it helps.
Oh, I see a lot of similarities among us. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
recovering perfectionist. I moved from West Africa, Ghana, which is
Yeah.
your Florida, to Alberta. That's cold with snow and all that. You know,
Right.
I minored in psychology, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It's
I
amazing.
love to understand people, like why people think, why do they do what they do, right? So
Right.
that got me to do that. But this is amazing. What else do you like that I like? Do you like cooking?
I've learned to like it.
Oh.
My husband's actually a better cook than I am.
Oh,
I will admit that. I actually never liked cooking because I think my schedule was always so crazy. It was always like on the go. And we ended up doing this challenge. It was probably like 2 years ago. Like it was a 30-day, like no sugar, no nothing. And we had to learn, like I really had to cook. And I fell in love with it. I was like, oh, wow, this is so much easier. And I think part of it growing up, and I still do have a nut allergy. So I'm like deathly allergic to peanuts and other kinds of nuts. And through that, I'm always having to read packages. It's always like really challenging to find things that I can eat. Even going out to a restaurant the other day, I actually
yeah.
had like a really bad allergic reaction because they
Oh,
had a teeny tiny nut in it. It wasn't a peanut, but like my body was just like out of control. It was horrible. But
wow.
it's just like the challenge of eating for me is like, okay, and now with cooking, it allows me to have more control over that versus like packaged stuff.
Yeah, because you know what you're putting in there. And it's like
Yeah.
it's an art. I think it's an art. You know, cooking is an art. For me, that's
Well,
what I see.
that's the interesting part. So like because I'm very analytical, so like with
Yeah.
baking, I'm so good with baking because it's like an exact science, but cooking is like artistic and I'm like, no. That's why my husband's really good at it.
Oh, I see. It's
I'm
all good.
grateful that he's good
It's
at
all
it.
good. Yeah. You balance, as you said, you have different strengths and
Yes.
each other out.
I know what mine are. And I know my weaknesses.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much. And also I want to find out, like, is there anything you would like to change in Colorado?
Oh, great
You're
question.
given a chance to change anything.
I think when it gets, well, I was gonna say when it gets so cold, but like it's so pretty. It's just like when I have to like go out in it, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Driving it. Or clean
Yeah.
your car. Of the
Yeah. I mean, I do like that difference. I guess it would be nice to have like there are lakes here, but it's a little different than the beaches because beaches are really pretty. I like to look at it. I don't like to be on it always, but I think that would be the only thing I would really change. But other than that, like I do truly love it. I feel like I was meant to be here and it's definitely fitting in this moment. I can't speak for it's gonna look like in 10 years,
yeah.
but as of right now, I feel like it's perfect for me.
Awesome. Dr. C, thank you so much again for doing this, Dr. C.
Of
You've
course,
been awesome.
you've
Really,
been awesome.
enjoy this. It's like we're just having a conversation, but so many, you've shared so many nuggets and so many truths and good stuff. So thank you so much.
Of course, yeah.
Now, I want to ask, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years from now?
Oh, such a big question. I mean, there's so many things I want. I will say, on the family side, definitely
Yeah.
having one or two, maybe three kids. We just got married
Yeah.
last year, at the end of last year, so we're in that wedding bliss still. So we'll hopefully have children by then.
Yeah.
And definitely on more of the business side, I would say with solar being international, I think that would be amazing. So definitely being in all 50 states, but starting to branch out internationally.
Mm.
And for the channel to hopefully get over 100,000 subscribers because that
Yes.
means how many lives I can impact. I mean, I would love a
Yeah.
million, but I
Yeah.
think it's more, I don't need that many. I just want to be able to touch each person in some kind of way where it's beneficial, valuable, and they're gaining something from it because there's so much out there and
Yeah.
it's hard to choose. What do I listen to? Because
Yeah.
there's so many amazing people out there. So
Right?
being able to be a hub for people to walk away with something every time they see one of my episodes from the amazing people I interview.
Mm.
And just personally, I want to be able to continue to evolve and learn and grow. And I've been a co-author, but I would love to have a book or two out by then. It's been on my heart for a while.
Ooh.
And the other thing, I know there's so many ands.
Yeah. Oh, please.
And then the other big thing that's actually in the works right now is I'm working with two fabulous women and we're putting an event together, our first live event, well, together.
Oh,
Something I've been wanting to do for over a year now. But that's
man.
going to be starting. We have the date, we have the place. It's going to be at the end of
Woohoo.
June. And my goal for us is to start it here in Denver and then move throughout the US and then internationally. So that's actually in the works. No,
Well,
I
I'll be
mean,
looking out for that.
yes, yeah.
Watching.
It's more for women entrepreneurs that are starting out their business. So they might be in a 9 to 5 and transferring over to entrepreneurship, or actually being able to, they're in that first or second year of business, to have tangible tools of how to really grow their business. There's a lot of elements, moving parts to it,
Okay.
but it's a 2-day event. So we're excited to put it together. And yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow actually about like getting everything solidified, and it's a really exciting time. So I would love to see that on an international level as well, and just being able to impact more people. And that's really where my heart lies. Everything I do, I look at it as, is this going to make an impact, no matter how small or big?
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe, change starts with you. That
Yes.
one person starts with you, and then all the people around you. You're not alone. You're not on an island. So,
Yeah.
and then the people around you. So, yeah, that's beautiful. So, for all that are watching, please go to Dr. C's channel. We'll put the information. But Dr. C, can you help us with that? She shares amazing. Her guests are amazing, and they share amazing life stories that it will benefit you. Trust me. You go there, and she's got tons of videos that are impactful. I need you to go check it out and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to her channel, because then you can get all the stuff that she does, because it's amazing. Please share how they can get a hold of your channel, like them.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm literally everywhere as Dr. Caroline Iscovitz. I know it'll be in the notes. And so you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Butterfly's a new app I'm on. I just learned about.
Oh, I don't even know about that. But
It's kind of like Threads. So if you're on Threads, it's like very similar to like X as well. I'm on those two. Yeah. So anywhere as Dr. Caroline Iscovitz.
wow, there. So yeah, go check her out, and then if they want to get a hold of you for the solar, how do
Yeah.
they?
The easiest way is just www.solarallover.com.
Perfect. All right. So, Dr. Caroline, thank you so much for doing this. Is there any word you want to give to anyone in the world, since you are international? Any word that you want to give to anyone in the world?
Yes. Oh, I love this question. And I think the biggest thing is to remember that your story matters, your voice matters, and what you're doing in this world does matter. No matter what the outside noise is, just keep going. Don't give up on yourself, because you deserve the life you want.
Oh, wow. How beautiful. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for doing this. This has been
Yes.
very engaging and fun. And I
Yeah,
hope you
same.
all, right?
I've been having a blast.
The time is going. I'm like, wow, can you imagine? You're having fun, you don't know the time is going. But thank you so much for doing this. And all of you that joined us, I hope you got something from this production. And I hope Dr. Caroline has been able to encourage you, okay, to reach out, go out there and do what you need to do. Don't sit on your strength. Don't sit on your abilities. Don't be afraid of failing. It's not, if you failed before, don't think it's the stop, it's the end. Just move on. Okay, there's more to you than just that failure that happened. And someone said, that one wise lady, I don't remember where I heard it, but she said it's better to look in the windshield than the rear view mirror. Focus on the windshield. It's bigger. The rear view mirror is like this small, So you look at that and learn from your past, but you don't stay there. Don't keep your focus there, because if you're driving and you're watching just that, you're going to get in big trouble. So focus on that windshield and move forward. You're
Never
right.
heard that.
Yeah, I don't know where I heard it from, but I like to read books, but these days I don't even read, but I listen to messages and stuff. So thank you so much for doing
Thank
that.
you. It was such an honor to be on. Thank you. And a privilege.
Oh, I'm interviewing a doctor, like seriously, it's a privilege and an honor to me too. So thank you so much. And I know connection, we'll keep in touch.